Hello and a very warm welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, in the not too distant past, the London property market used to be seen as a very good place to put your money in the real estate market. But today I'm going to give you 10 reasons why I think that not only is investing in London real estate not a good investment idea, it is in fact a terrible idea and a terrible investment, possibly even worse than Paris. So let's get straight down to it. Reason number one, prices are still unaffordable for locals. Now, despite the fact that prices have barely moved in the last year or so, that's in nominal terms anyway, in real terms, they've fallen, but they're still very high at around £520,000. And if you consider the average salary in London is around the £44,000 mark, this means the price to income ratio is still very high at around 12. Now, reason number two is the low yields. Despite the fact that rental yields have risen over the last couple of years or so because rents have indeed risen, gross yields are still just under 4% gross, and that still isn't great. Number three, a more protective pro tenant market. Now, obviously, this point affects the whole of Britain, but it's a very important one to note, as very soon it will be a lot more difficult for landlords to evict a tenant, and rent controls will come in as well. Now, other measures included in the renters reform bill, which was actually didn't actually go through because the Conservative Party lost the last election, is due to come back under the Labour Party, and it will also give more rights for tenants to own pets in the properties. And I think all these measures under the Labour government are actually going to be even more pro tenant. Now, number four is the end of the UK investment visa and non dom tax status. Now, I've already described in previous videos how the end of the UK investment visa has meant less investment in UK and how London has been adversely affected. But the end of the non-dom tax status due to come in next year, whereby UK residents' permanent home or for tax purposes is outside the UK, will mean even fewer wealthier individuals will move to the UK and in particular London. So I think the London property market will suffer disproportionately compared to the rest of the UK. And this leads me on to point number five. Millionaires are leaving the UK. In the last year alone, over 9,000 millionaires left the UK, and this is actually the second highest number in the world. Again, this is likely to hit the London market more than other parts of the UK, as most millionaires are based in London. Now, point number six is the high stamp duty. Now, stamp duty works on a sliding scale. So, the higher the price of a property, the higher the stamp duty. So, the higher the percentage of stamp duty you're going to have to pay. So, a lot of stamp duty, in particular if you're a non resident, a non UK resident. So, you will pay 5% stamp duty up to 250,000. Between 250,000 and 925,000, you'll pay 10% stamp duty. And between 925,000 and 1.5 million, if you are a non UK resident, you'll pay 15%. And the portion above 1.5 million, you'll pay 17%. So in effect, if you're a foreign buyer and you purchase a property in London for £1 million, you'll pay a whopping £91,250 in stamp duty. Now, as said, the Conservatives already introduced an extra 2% stamp duty for foreign buyers. But the Labour government want to go even further and increase this by another 3%. So, of course, this would hit the London market even further. So, I think this is going to come into force. It's been part of Labour's manifesto. They've won the election. So, I expect this to come into force quite soon. And please bear in mind that in the UK, on your stamp duty fee, these are not included in your mortgage calculation. So you have to pay up front the stamp duty, meaning that on top of having to find a higher deposit in London, you also have to find also savings to pay higher stamp duties. So again, I think this is not good. It's not great for the London property market going forward. Now, number seven, high taxes. Now, taxes are already high in the UK, but with the prospect of higher taxes, especially with a new Labour government, we're going to see more capital gains tax and inheritance tax. This means that the London property market will be even less attractive. We could see capital gains tax rates the same as income tax rates. So in the future, if you are lucky enough to make a capital gain in London, you'll be paying on quite a bit of the portion, 40% capital gains tax, if the Labour government introduces, and I think they will. And with, of course, inflation not taken into account, you're not going to make a great gain in London. And I think also what could happen with inheritance tax is that the rate may be increased from 40 to 45%, or perhaps the threshold lowered as well. So it's not looking good. Number eight, a Labour government. Now, with a new left wing Labour government, we're bound to see a more socialist ideology. So, further measures are likely to be implemented which will make it less attractive to buy property in London. Perhaps we may even see a wealth tax in the next year or two. Now, number nine is levelling up. Now, with more emphasis on transferring funds and resources away from London, this is also bound to have a negative effect on the capital. So, the average Londoner already pays, in effect, £3,000 a year to keep the rest of the country. And this will only increase under the new Labour government. So, again, not looking great for London. And finally, number 10, I think, to be honest, if you go away from London and you come back, London looks quite run down at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, London is not the London of 5 to 10 years ago. It now looks like a city on decline. Crime in London is rampant, especially knife crime and shoplifting. And the streets of London have got more litter than I've ever seen before anyway. They look very, very dirty. People throw things on the floor. I've seen a lot of people let their dogs foul the pavement as well. And this is particularly the case since Brexit. And now London is no longer seen as the go to place for people who want to have a career. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'd love to know if you agree or disagree. Please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Bye for today.